Since their inception, musicals have been granted the rare exemption in that they are unbound from abiding by the typical rules and guidelines of a traditional movie's narrative storyline or flow. Characters can burst into song and dance at a moment's notice. Families will sing and dance around the kitchen table, flail and frolic in the fields, a momentary leap out of their reality and into a place of pure imagination. And after the last musical beat has been beaten, they'll slide back into reality like nothing even happened. This can be used to make exposition more engaging, to better convey to the audience the emotion a character or characters are feeling in the moment, to say in song what wouldn't have worked otherwise. Of course, there are times where you do believe the characters are really singing and dancing as part of the narrative. It's baked in. Willy Wonka is a very interesting case because it does both. You believe Willy Wonka is singing pure imagination and dancing down those steps. You believe that in response to finding the last golden ticket, in a moment of pure elation, Grandpa Joe and Charlie begin to sing and dance around the kitchen. And even the Oompa Loompas doing their clearly rehearsed musical numbers after each child has been eliminated. You believe it. It's happening. But then there's the Candyman musical number early in the movie. A scene where Bill's candy shop is flooded with children, fresh out of school and ravenous for sugar. The shop clerk bursts into song, flinging and slinging candy like it's nobody's business. There are a number of things in this scene that suggest it is not actually real. This isn't really happening in this candy shop. That this is all just a way for the filmmakers to heighten and more accurately show the audience what a certain character is feeling. First of all, there's no way the shop clerk is giving away all this candy for free, yet the scene implies he is. He's throwing dollars worth of candy at these children. There's no way he could possibly ascertain who owes what amount of money after he's finished his big musical number. Secondly, he is being way too friendly with the children. From an objective perspective, you would take issue with the shop clerk's behavior, but this scene is not being shown from an objective perspective. It's being shown through the subjective perspective of a character in the movie. Not even a character in the movie, but the scene is being shown through an innocent lens. The perspective of an innocent child, not necessarily a character in the movie. This is not Charlie's perspective looking in the window. This is not what he's seeing with his eyes, and he's not hallucinating either. This scene is an over-the-top dramatization exclusively for the audience, designed to show us the extent of Charlie's longing. That's its intended purpose. Sure, Charlie is looking in the window at this candy shop with that sad look on his face. And there probably are a lot of children inside, pulling their pockets inside out for whatever bit of pocket money they have left, to buy some candy after a long day at school. Now, does that sound very cinematic? No. But that's what's happening here. How much more effective is this musical dramatization in conveying to us how Charlie is feeling in this moment? Infinitely. Again, Charlie is not imagining or hallucinating any of this. People don't just hallucinate. For reference, take the scene from Spider-Man 2, where Peter decides he doesn't want to be Spider-Man anymore. We, as the audience, see Peter having a heartfelt back and forth conversation with his late Uncle Ben, supposedly in his head. This does not happen, but it makes for some good cinema. Sure, Peter's probably sitting there on the floor, talking to himself, saying something along the lines of, "I'm sorry, Uncle Ben. I can't live your dream anymore. I'm just Peter Parker. Spider-Man. No more." That is what Peter is probably doing here. He's not off in imagination land, having this extraordinarily vivid conversation with his dead uncle. The scene is exclusively for us, the audience. It heightens the experience. The Candyman scene from Willy Wonka is the exact same. It more effectively conveys to the audience how Charlie is thinking in this moment. That if he just had a bit of money, the world would be a wondrous place where you're showered in jelly beans and marshmallows. It does more than any amount of exposition ever could. It shows us how Charlie thinks of himself relative to other kids. This is what their lives are like from his point of view. This is what it must feel like. The things these children take for granted will be worthy of a song and dance for Charlie. Later on in the movie, we see Charlie return to the candy shop. Not a song is sung, nor a dance danced. Once Charlie is in the shop and no longer looking in from the outside, the place is dreary in contrast to this earlier scene. The shop clerk seems reserved, like a man just doing his job. He's missing the pep in his step from his earlier scene, and there really aren't many children inside this time. You could argue this was because the world thought all 5 golden tickets had been found. I mean, these children do look like drunkards sitting at a bar, soothing their woes with the poison of their choice. It also wasn't that prime after-school time slot. Maybe the shop clerk does put on a bit of a performance for the after-school kids. Regardless, I think how we see the candy shop in this scene is the more accurate representation. What do you think? Did the shop clerk really do that song and dance in world? Or is the scene a dramatization of what was really happening, meant exclusively for the audience?